Now, Jen, did you finally get the closure that you needed in your sit down with Tamra? Did you finally get it? I mean, because it's like we done this a couple of times before already. Not sure why this time would have been any different, but I'm also not gonna act like you ain't shut her down. Okay, because you shut her down. All right. In like 1.2 milliseconds in less than 5 minutes, all-time record almost. Okay. But anyway, y'all, what is going on? It's your girl Taina B here, and welcome to my chat party. If you could join me for a little bit, a lot of it, fashionably late, fashionably early, whatever. I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart just to check in with me, on me, to hear my little thoughts, my little views, my little opinions about the Real Housewives of Orange County, season 19, which is insane, episode number 4. And y'all who know me already know I am beyond late to the party. It's almost like, not even almost, I disappeared from my own party. So forgive me for that, y'all. When I tell you life was definitely trying to do its thing and have been doing its thing, but I had to turn around and two-piece that, like, get out my face, I'm back. So forgive me, y'all, a whole lot to that. But that's a whole different video for a whole different day. Just know that I'm here. I've missed y'all so much, and I hope that you guys will return to rock with me. I want to hear from y'all. Y'all definitely have to say a quick hello, to let me know that you're back in the building. Okay, we're gonna get the party right this time. For the record, got lost when it came to Atlanta. Not only did I just have a lot going on, but I couldn't do the rest of Atlanta. I just couldn't do it. I was like, okay, what I got going on mixed with this Atlanta ain't helping. I'm over it. So I couldn't do it, y'all. And then come to find out, I really wasn't missing anything when it came to the reunion either. I was like, yeah, no. I didn't even watch the reunions. Yeah, no. Okay. So, anyways, we're gonna save all of that for another time. Okay. Because again, that is not what y'all came here for. But I will say to those of you who will allow my guest list to guest list by subscribing. Thank you in advance. For those of y'all who are still rocking on my guest list, mwah, you already know what it is. To those of you who will hit the dance floor with your comments at the end of this video, I appreciate you. Or hit the like button, or even just slide by and be like, I'm gonna just look. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna watch everybody else dance. I ain't ready to join in yet. I appreciate you too. Hopefully something one day will make you change your time when it's the right time. But let's go ahead and get into this mess, y'all, okay? Because I'm sliding right on up in here like I've been here. And I must admit, I was able to finally binge watch all of Orange County up to this current episode just last night. So that's just an indication of how crazy things have been for me. And yeah, I'm doing this thing now too. I'm gonna hold my little microphone. I'm gonna see how this goes because I'm seeing people do this now, and I'm like, is it more comfortable to do that? Am I living in dinosaur land and I'm old school by just keeping it posted up? On my clothing? I don't know. We'll see. So pay me no mind, okay? Let's move on. So what we're doing here is picking up where we left off in the last episode, and this is at Heather's party. But even with that, y'all, since I'm late to the party, let me just say this right quick. What in the freaking like oranges mixed with Botox mixed with tears has been going on in these couple of episodes? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, Tamara with all the tears. I'm just like, I ain't sold. Katie, girl, like, ooh, girl, ooh, I couldn't save you if I put and bet my own like dollars on it. I can't help you. But okay, let me go ahead and get recentered again. So Heather's party, we watch Shannon. She's just going off on Katie, right? Because Katie called herself approaching Shannon to try to work out the kinks and talk about her recording her when she had an episode and then sharing it with the ops. Whoa. I was like, Katie, no, you didn't. Oh, Katie. Like, when I tell y'all, my heart dropped when I heard that part. At first, when I heard the husband part, and even when I heard the recording, right? Because I'm like, all right, y'all, let's give a little leeway here. Like, let's not act like for those of us who have our significant others, we don't share things with them that we most likely just either wouldn't share with anybody else, or that we just don't share things that are kind of crazy sometimes with them. Now, Would I sit and record somebody? Maybe. I mean, acting crazy, maybe. This is the world that we live in, right? Now, am I that person though who can stand on the sideline watching danger happen and record the danger? No, but people do that all the time, right? So let's like not act like folks don't be sitting up here recording things that they shouldn't be recording, especially to share it with their significant other. I personally didn't see the big harm in that, but then when it went to her sharing it with Alexis, I was like, oh, girl, no. Oh, that's an absolute no. Like, what? Knowing again, as we saw the flashbacks, just the extreme heartache and nonsense and the lawsuits and the mess and all the things that Shannon was going through, especially with the whole recording on the ring being a big thing, the ring camera, that's sensitive enough. And then these people, wow, yeah, I was at a loss for words. Okay, but I know y'all are probably like, okay, girl, we're already past that. I know, but remember, I'm just getting to this last night. So I'm still marinating on it. And so even with Katie apologizing, I'm like, girl, you can apologize to your blue in the face. That's really not going to mean anything. It's really not doing anything. You're done. You're done. Okay. Shout out to my girl Braylon. I don't know if y'all watched that show, Braylon Out Loud. Absolutely love her. Hopefully they're gearing up for another season. But I was like, you're done. You're done. Okay. There's nothing left to say. And even so, if you want to apologize and get it off your conscience, just apologize and then walk away. Because that's about all you can give at this point, because it's just that bad. And so Tamra apparently brought the info to the group, as we saw. Um, and Katie wants to act disgusted by that, but I'm like, girl, not only though do I need to be on alert of someone shady like Tamra, I'm also not too mad about her presenting that information, because it's extremely helpful to me to know that there are also snakes slithering around me as well. Because that was real, like, low down. You know what I'm saying? And I know Katie has been on her whole apology tour and trying to do better. But I was like, this is a huge yikes. As I said, just no coming back from this, in my opinion, right? Y'all might beg to differ. You can get on dance floor. Let me know what you've been thinking about what's been going down, because it's been a little crazy. And so, as I'm learning, as I see, as I'm not surprised by, Tamara is still a piece of work, as we already knew, because although she's um, starting off this season trying to rewrite history and playing our faces, playing our grills, we're not fools, okay? You're still who and what you have been. You're just going through it, okay? Correct me for being wrong, I guess, y'all, if I am even wrong, but I'm like, I'm supposed to feel sorry for her? Like, did you guys? I mean, if you did, maybe you can help me along the way. But it's a huge, like, okay, girl. And now it absolutely sucks what her best friend Teddy is going through. Would never wish that on anybody. And I think that's crazy. I didn't know Teddy was going through it on that level. So shout out and prayers up for Teddy for sure. To everything else, though, I'm like, okay, Tamara, okay. All right, let me move on before I become like come across as super insensitive. But anyways, so since Eddie won't, he didn't want to appear. He wasn't trying to be around Jen and Ryan for Heather's event, right? Because Heather, as we learned, invited everybody. That was a big sore spot for Jen, because she was like, you know what? Like, why would you have these people here? I think that's what she said. Wasn't that her argument, y'all? I know Tamara was saying that her attorney had advised, with everything going on, amongst the four of them, that it be best that they not be in the same space. But Jen, I don't know if Jen upset because Heather was just inviting Tamara in general, or wouldn't have Jen there and not I don't know. I just know she was in her feelings about the fact that she felt like Heather was choosing Tamara in some type of way. And so, with that being said, we know Tamara was kind of on some, I don't know if I'm gonna make it there. I don't know if I want to risk myself, whatever. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna make it there, because it's TV and you love TV and you love being on TV and you love being the center of attention with a TV. So, girl, we know you're going to be there, okay? And Eddie, on the other hand, was like, yeah, I ain't trying to rock with it. according to Tamara, right? And so he wasn't trying to be around Jen and Ryan. And AKA, that also to me was code for my wife is nuts. She's unstable. I'm not trying to be embarrassed in front of others by her for the millionth time. You know, it just reminds me, y'all remember too. And I've said it in my other videos in the past season where I just couldn't get over the fact when she did get into it with Brian at Katie's house that time and stormed off, like how Eddie just sat there wrapped in his blanket. Like I'm still seeing that in my head. Like, sir, get up and go check on your wife. What are you doing? I can't. That will forever live in my head. It is the funniest thing to me. Because it's like who wouldn't be there in this moment to support their wife. You know, like you just got to rock through some things. That's what marriage and relationship is about, compromise, right? And so it was blowing me that he's just like, no, I'm not going. I was like, okay, well. And Ryan even decided to show up on Jen's behalf. Meanwhile, he don't want to be around them either. And let's not forget, he's just fresh off of knee surgery the day before. So I'm like, you know what, Eddie, you ain't, as they like to say, you ain't worth a damn, okay? You ain't right. But are we too mad at you? Yes and no. No, because listen, we see a little bit of what you got to deal with, but yes, because you choose to stay up in that, okay? Anywho, moving forward, she decides, Tamra, that she's going to bring Joe, Slade's ex, as her plus one. And I'm like, okay, of all the people. Now, granted, when we saw the previews for this upcoming episode, we saw somebody walking in with her and everybody was shocked and the lady had black hair. I'm like, obviously that's Joe. We figured that out, right? But I'm like, again, it just speaks to Tamra's character. So not going to be telling you guys anything you don't already know, but just kind of confirming some things that we already do. Then had the audacity, right, as they're riding in the car together to the event, Joe and Tamara, that is, to say a prayer. We're going to bow for a word of prayer, even though y'all just hopped on the fast train to Messy Land because you know what you're doing. And you should not be in that car, Joe, with Tamara right now on the way to this event. But okay, gross. You want us to believe that you're changed, though, Tamara, right? Got it. All right. And I said, I hope Gretchen eats her up this season. Okay. I hope she eats her up this season. But since we're particularly on this night, I hope she pays Joe and Tamara dust, which apparently she pleasantly surprised me. So moving forward, Katie and her husband are leaving out because we know Katie's upset after what she just had to go through the back and forth with Shannon. As she's walking out, Tamara and Joe are walking in, and Tamara's just, oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? Like she cares and she's just so concerned. And pretty much Katie's like, I ain't got the time and the energy. You're the last person I want to see because I'm leaving because of you. Oh, you're leaving because of me. And so they have their whole little back and forth because she's letting her know, yeah, because pretty much you opening your mouth has now caused issue with Shannon and I. And, and like we know, make a long story short, Tamara's not going to take any accountability. She's going to flip the wig, flip the switch, all the things. And I'm like, again, you're the same person that just sat up here less than 5 minutes ago and said a prayer. Okay. And even with that, you won't take accountability for, right? I can hear Shannon or Tamara being like, I didn't say the prayer. Joe said the prayer. I mean, I didn't even say the prayer. Okay. Well, you were a part of the prayer. Okay. So what did that prayer just do for you? You know what I'm saying? In this moment where fresh off of a prayer, you still can't even do the right thing. You know what I mean? Even if you were taken aback by Katie and what she was saying, you couldn't still take an approach where you're like, okay, well, Katie, you're upset. So let's talk about this later. I'm sorry that you're leaving. Like Tamara is just, right? And I was feeling the husband. Contrary to what Heather might have to say about things later on, I'm not mad at the husband for stepping in to defend his wife and saying what he said because he was spot on. No lies told. So she's standing there in the conversation, lying per usual. I'm glad Katie just kind of didn't fold and held her own ground and ends up, walking off. And as I mentioned, Tam is just somebody who'll never know what accountability looks like. She just won't. It's not in her. These things we already know. And it's even going back to that prayer because I'm just so offended they pray. Like, how do you pray in the midst of confusion that you're about to cause and havoc that you were trying to call yourself wreaking in some way, shape, or form, even if you want to be sly and subtle with it? Like, that's just crazy. I'm like, yo, maybe you should have prayed for the spirit of accountability while you were at it, but you didn't. So we'll move on. And I can hear like I just let me move on, guys. Let me not belabor the point, okay? But I said not Ryan, but not Ryan alerting the group when Tamara walks in, and twice at that she's there. Talk about, oh, there's Tamara and Joe. Tamara and Joe are here. Y'all, the way that I chuckle because of how he said it. I don't care what nobody say, y'all. I'm rocking with Ryan right now. I'm rocking with him through his shady dealings, whatever. He ain't been proven guilty, nothing. It ain't go no further than what it should have. All the rumors about the woman he done messed with, okay, where's the rest of the proof? Something or another. We done moved on from that. Ryan is my guy. Okay. Until he gives me a reason not to be. Matter of fact, let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and pop my collar for Ryan. Y'all remember when Ryan had that pop collar? Was that the same night that he ate Tamara up at Katie's house, or was some point throughout the season? Because you know his style of dress is, what it is. But shout out to Ryan, okay? And so, like Gretchen said in her confessional, when she sees them walking, she was like, Tamara bringing Joe Slade's ex is not pretty much evident of Tamara wanting to move forward. And I'm like, exactly, clock it, Gretchen, right? Because you already know how Tamara has been, is, and will always be. She's on demon time, right? And I'm with Jen calling the arrival thirsty, by Tamara too. But it's Joe also for me being thirsty because I'm like, Joe, why are you even here? Why are you here? You couldn't find anything else to do. You couldn't find any other way to be on somebody's camera time than this. It just wasn't a good look to me. You know what I'm saying? I said, Gretchen's still beautiful. Slay's looking well. They're still together. So what else you need, hun? What you need to know? What you need? Bye. Sidebar. Also, the other man, which we know, Terry DeBrell. Okay, Terry. Terry has been messing with that green. Okay, for lack of better words. So Terry is feeling it right now. Even Heather had to ask him, like, "Are you like, what is going on with you?" He was like, well, you got a bar here with that. I just pretty much was doing my thing. But we just know Terry is always the life of the party. He doesn't even need that kind of stuff. Just a great person. I always enjoy just seeing him on the screen. I've never gotten tired of him. I've never gotten annoyed at him. I love Terry. Anyways, so shout out to him. I've been with Jen also because now in this moment they're kind of talking. It's her and Ryan and Terry and Heather. I don't know if maybe one extra person was standing there, but again, Jen is just sharing her plight, with the situation as it relates to Tamra and just how she's moved in the past. That's just not a good look. Like all her grievances, and I'm definitely feeling what she's saying in this moment. Um, and since I haven't been able to record up until now my thoughts on what I've been seeing, I must say, Tamara mentioning um late son in any capacity, because some of y'all might beg to different, but like, oh well, he was mentioning that it should have been a GoFundMe for the son. Listen, anything that mentions the son's name, anything that has to do with the son, he is resting. And you have the nerve to bring the situation up on your podcast. I was like, oh, that made me so hot, y'all. I did not like that. I did not like that from just, oh my gosh. I said, that's what you call that bottom barrel gutter snipe type. Okay. Because that was just so disgusting. And no to the no, no, no. And no one can change my mind on it. That is not the same thing as Gretchen leaving a comment under Tamara's daughter's post. Nowhere near. Okay. So Tamara, get lost on that. Anyways, I couldn't believe that. And so Heather, I'm like, miss me with this trying to encourage Jen not to throw away damaged goods, Tamara being damaged goods. And I'm like, Tamara's throwing herself away. Okay. With the way she's acted, with the things she's doing, with the evil that she is, that's all on her, hun. You need to speak to your friend about that. Okay. And so who in their right mind? Who in their right mind would want to still keep that type of toxicity present in their life? Somebody doing the same old toxic two step to this present day every single time. Like, come on, Heather, make it make sense. Okay, make it make sense. And like Jen said, when y'all met, the prior episode for dinner. Like, are you afraid of her? Like, what's going on? Some got to be up, y'all. Y'all have got to let me know because I'm missing it. I ain't had a chance to really think hard about it. But Heather being so connected to Tamra, even from the prior season, what is going on? What am I missing here? Does she feel like Tamra is the one to, partner up with for production purposes that'll give her more? I don't know, because I feel like Heather doesn't even need it. Heather stands on her own. So I don't get why Heather goes so hard for Tamara. I really don't. And why she's hanging on to her for dear life. It just makes no sense to me. So please, somebody hop on the dance floor and let me know why. Just why? Oh, why? Oh, why? Okay. And Heather's annoying me with her campaign speech on, Tamara being the best candidate for friend of the year. Cause I'm like, no, she's everything but. However, most importantly, we're going to slide right on across the room because y'all, when I tell you I was feeling Miss Gretchen, okay? I said, Gretchen, you better go ahead then and walk over to Joe with your man and give the hug and the greeting you did because you're not phased by Tamara's antics or Joe's antics for even being there. Okay. I said, let's go. Because Tamara wanted that negative reaction and she got nada. Nothing. Okay. She got a zero. On that. I loved it. And I wasn't expecting that because I'm like, okay, oh gosh, with Joe coming in, it's probably about to be a little bit of drama, a little bit of back and forth. Girl, that thing was shut down like nobody's business before it even had a chance to get started. I love that. I thought that was beautiful, or a beautiful approach. Shout out to Gretchen, A1 class. But I'm feeling Gretchen anyways, y'all. I can't really think back that far. Again, I might have shared with y'all before. The older I get, I can't remember things as much, and I'm not as sharp as I used to be with these shows and catching up with them, details. But I don't recall myself ever disliking Gretchen anyway. As a matter of fact, I think I might have liked Gretchen, you know what I'm saying, back then. And so, whether I did or I didn't, now I feel like she's definitely a breath of fresh air to the cast. I hope I'm calling it out. Bravado. Or I should say, I hope I'm calling it out right. Bravado, where are you? Because listen, when I tell y'all the way I got to let Bravado know, because he was calling it, and this is one of our party goers on the Housewives review, because I was trying to hold Shamia down at a point in time. Okay, I'm gonna say maybe halfway through the season. Okay, and then he started like, "You want to come to the other side yet?" And see, Shamia ain't okay, even though he ain't said it in those words, but Shamia wasn't giving what I thought she was giving, and she wasn't who I thought she was. Oh, I had to crumble all the way on that. So you got that. So let me know, Bravado, you in particular, if I'm calling this Gretchen thing right now, off the rip, out the gate. What are your thoughts? Okay. But moving on. So again, thoroughly enjoying her. But Jen wanting to have a talk with Tamara at another time, she goes over and tells her that. I'm like, okay, but why? Jen, we done this so many times. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I said, we about to do this again. I said, no, we not. Jen, I'm not about to let you stress me out off and on this roller coaster ride again this season. You know what I'm saying? Because one minute you have me cheering, next minute you be having me annoyed with you. Next minute you want to give it a go, the next minute I'm like, girl, we not doing this. So I said, okay, we got to do this again. I'm just not getting myself worked out. Okay. She's already been disrespecting you this season, and we're only 4 episodes in, but you go ahead and have at it. Okay. What you did, and I wasn't mad at you, but all right, we'll get to that. Sidebar. Don't y'all feel like Heather really let loose for her party? You know what I mean? Because we know Heather is just so, you know, conservative and put together and walk the fine line. At least that's my opinion. And it was the fact for me of her sitting up here, having the type of station with the green that she did at her party, the fact that she was drinking out of her champagne bottle, taking it straight to the head, or allowing folks to dig in the cake with their forks. And I'm like, okay, Heather, that's what we doing. All right, you was trying to give us a different side, but looks like she had a great time, and that's what matters the most. But I said, when we get to the next scene, right? Because now we have um Gina showcasing a home. I said, not the potential buyer doing a double take at Gina as the agent because she didn't look the same on the like she did on the pic of her brochure. That was so funny to me. Did y'all peep that with that man? And she was like, no, it's me. He looking like, And he had on glasses. Like, are you sure that's you? He was like, "Oh, girl, you look different." Because I don't know what in the world, Gina. No, I didn't like that look that Gina had to for that showcasing, and it almost looked like her hair wasn't even done quite all the way. So, sir, I was feeling you, like, girl, that pic on that brochure must have looked like everything. Okay, he was definitely taken aback and thrown off and distracted, but that's not neither here nor there. I'm sure it was unintentional on the man's part, but it definitely was shade. I'm gonna call it shade, okay? So now we get to Ryan and Jen, who are at the dentist's office, and they finally have their little sidebar conversation. I said, "Thank you, Ryan, for trying to bring some sense into your fiance by letting her know that talking with Tamra is going to be disappointing. It's it's gonna get you nowhere." Okay. And he also told Jen Tamra is jealous of her because there was this theory that Tamra had that Jen was jealous of Tamra. And I still haven't figured that out either. What about Tamra would have Jen jealous? Even back, I guess, then in the era, because Jen still was a beautiful woman. I understand she had work done. We ain't even going to talk about how apparently this picture that's floating around that's going to come up in the next episode is a fat picture of Jen. I said, y'all call that fat? Again, another reason why I could never, I will never be in that county, LA County, Orange County, whatever county it is. No thanks. First of all, I will have no desire to try to keep up with the ladies. That's not my look anyway. But I'm just like, really, y'all call that fat? Y'all are a piece of work. But okay, still look great in the picture. But moving forward, um, and he's right. No, it seems like it's the other way around. That energy Tamara's been given since Jen has been here. Yeah, it definitely gives me that. Like, no, girl, this is the other way around. And it may be an unpopular opinion, but like I said, I'm gonna continue to rock with Ryan on this one. I feel like he's speaking true facts in this moment to her. He's making valid and great points, and it just all makes sense. And yet and still, Jen says if Tamara is truthful with her in their talk, no matter how painful it is, whatever Tamara comes out of her mouth, she'll be willing to move on with her. And I said truthful and Tamara in the same sentence. I'm gonna go ahead again, piggyback off of what my boy Ryan said. And I'm just like, okay, well, Jen, prepare not to move forward then, okay? Even if Tamara was truthful, that even stings my tongue to say. But even if Tamara was truthful, to even say that, she puts everything on the table. How do you still move forward trusting her though? After all, you can't undo all the things that have already been done, all the things that she said, all the energy that she gives, all the lies that she's told, all the confusion that she's caused, all the heartbreaks that she's been a part of, all the horrible relationships that, or I should say, the horrible, just for lack of better words, again, energy that she's brought to relationships to cause them to break. How do you move on with that? And again, Jen, you know what? Don't even answer that question because I'm not interested. Because I wouldn't. And I ain't going to, right? And I don't need to. But all right, Jen, like I said, I ain't about to let you stress me out, girl. Okay, I still like you, but I ain't gonna let you stress me out. So let's go ahead and perform a hard fast forward past these next couple of scenes. So now we have Gretchen, Emily, and Shannon who meet for aerial yoga. And I might be lying on that, y'all. I made that up. I know they was in the air as aerial something, okay? And then on the other side of town, we have Heather, Gina, and Katie who are meeting for snacks. And Heather just says to Katie that she heard that Katie had, well, actually, rewind. She says to Katie that apparently she heard that Katie's husband had yelled at Tamara when they were leaving Heather's party. Again, Tamara with the lies. I mean, we get the confirmation and the verification all the time of just how much of a liar this lady is. Okay, there's no allegedly in anything because it's just a fact. But should I say it for fun? Allegedly. Okay, and it's like she said, we didn't even need the flashback. We know that man did not yell at anybody. Okay, first of all, he hasn't even given us that type of temperament even when Shannon came at him that last season. But I'm like, all right, Tamara, she would be the one to heighten it and hype it up. Heather says, oh, well, he should just stay out of it. No, he should just do whatever he chooses to do when it comes to defending his wife, because what he's doing, there's nothing wrong with it. He's not getting loud. He's not being aggressive. He's not getting in her face. He's not cursing her, all the things. He's simply just stating how he feels and defending his wife. He knows what it is. He knows Tamara is straight up trash. Okay. At the end of the day, sorry, had to say it. It is what it is. She's done it to herself. Okay. And she still continues to do it. We can't even genuinely move on with her because of who and what she continues to give us in our faces and on this camera. And we now have Emily, who's trying to convince Gretchen to move on with Tamara. And Gretchen's like, I don't have a desire to be friends with her. And I feel Gretchen on that, okay? She's too in tune for the BS. Y'all got to remember, Emily, you've got to remember Gretchen is an OG, okay? Or at least was part of the OG back in the day era. She ain't new to this. She true to this. You're more new to this. You're more new to being best friends with Tamara. Gretchen knows who and what she's dealing with. Okay, she's seasoned. She's too seasoned for the nonsense. So you might need to try to go take that somewhere else. And touche also to Shannon's confessional comment, because she said Tamara's not capable of substantial change and isn't, as we see. And so back to the conversation with Heather and Katie and Gina. Heather asked if she met with some type of, because I don't like to call the wrong names and I know people get offended. Oh God, what is she? I'm gonna say influencer. Kiki Monique, never heard of her, but that means nothing from you guys. I'm not on social media a whole lot. Apparently, they seem to say, that they liked her sidebar. Maybe you guys know about her, but whatever the case. And Katie said, yes, I did meet with her, but Heather goes on to say, I heard that you were trying to put reports out on us to hurt us. And Katie's like, who'd you hear that from? Heather says Tamara. So now this is another lie, apparently, according to Katie. And I'm like, listen, these lies, y'all making my head spin and swim with the lies and who's lying, who ain't, is too much. All right. So thank goodness, I guess, for the lie detector test that we see the preview of for the season at some point in time, y'all, because I don't know which way to sway. Matter of fact, okay, we'll get to that. Anyways, so folks, I will say, are trying to be in Katie's corner. The ladies are calling themselves doing that. Gina, especially, but she's like, I'm just having a hard time. Seem like the lies just keep coming from Katie. So it just ain't going too well, right? You even hear Gretchen on the other side of town who's kind of like, I like Katie. But I that one was kind of messing with my membrane too about what she had done to Shannon. So it's a hard position to be in. And so now we have Katie, a scene with her and her husband, and she's having a bedroom chat with him, just catching him up on some things. And I love the whole point of this, y'all. For me, was how he subtly spoke a whole word when he said Tamra Judge is in this friend group, yet you're unworthy. Is that what he said? Oh shoot, y'all don't even know if I quoted that right. Whatever he said in that moment, y'all know what I'm talking about. And I was like, ain't that the truth? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did we get to this? This is a twisted world we live in, and we see evidence of that every day. Because I'm like, I'm still trying to figure out how and why Tamara is still even on this show. Like, I don't get that. I don't care even if y'all say, oh, well, people love to see, the drama, the whatever, but she's just a whole nother level of no, like what we don't need to be seeing and what doesn't help, in my opinion, this franchise. But I guess, if you want to say, oh, well, it keeps everybody talking, I guess we'll go with that, right? And so now we're at the scene where last scene of the episode where Jen is pretty much wasting her time to meet with Tamra, who even before Jen sits down says out of her mouth, there's so many other things I'd like to be doing right now. So then why are you there? Then you didn't have to meet with her. Okay, let's start there. But also it shows again that you're changed. But you're changed, right? And y'all, I think that might be a recurring question for me this season because I'm just like, you really started off trying to have us really believe that you were changed, and you're not even doing a good job trying to keep up with that false narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like, what a mess. So forgive me, y'all. Y'all gonna probably hear it a whole lot more times from now, other than now. And so the ladies keep saying Tamara's going through a lot, I noticed that too. And that's annoying to hear from me at this point, y'all, honestly, because I feel like they're trying to set her apart to get a pass for that. People go through every day. People are going through now. Like, what do you, I go through? I'm going through, like, okay. And again, so what does that mean? That you get to get more grace than others, the way you have acted a stone cold fool all these seasons, and now you expect people to get on your terms and your terms only, but you can't ever meet their terms. Girl, good night and goodbye. And anyway, so okay, let's just move on next. So Tamara's honestly just a waste of time, in my opinion, in this conversation. They're getting nowhere, but I'm not surprised. She has the nerve to tell Jen not to be condescending to her. And she's getting a little loud like she usually does. Maybe not as loud as she does. I'll give her that if she wants to say therapy's been helping with that, because we know she can scream out her whole throat. Okay, when she's going back and forth with someone, no matter where she's at. And I don't know if it's because alcohol wasn't involved, because that's what she likes to usually blame it on. But I will say that she did keep it somewhat calm for her, considering. Do I still feel like therapy is helping? Who am I to say, right? But from what we're getting, maybe it's helping in some other areas more so not than it is. Okay. But, anyways, so she it seems like to me, from what I'm gathering, because Jen kind of mentions it too, the also running theme is that, and I think Katie has said it too, that Tamara just likes to take things and twist them, or she gets information and she embellishes on it, or whatever. Again, I just call it all a lie. Okay, let's keep it simple. But let's not act like, no, let's not act like, though, in that minutes, that 5 minutes that they sat together, that Jen didn't get Tamara together, because she absolutely did. Okay, I loved it. Clocked her on every single line, had Tamara stuck. Okay, especially on the cheating part. You know what I'm saying? And I loved how she didn't retract or try to backpedal on anything she said. Even when Tamara was like, yeah, and then you were talking about Eddie, my husband, and him not having a job. Well, girl, did he? Because he didn't. What you want me to say? Oh, he did when he didn't? He didn't. He was unemployed. He was not working. He was not on the books. He was not on anyone's W-9. Like, what are you saying? Okay, I-9. Like, get out of here with that, right? And so I just loved it. The whole quarter with the whole cheating thing. She's like, wait, so, did you cheat or did you not? You know what I mean? Anyways, got her together, gathered her together, but was the boat for me on top, y'all? And I'm not trying to be mean. I know there's going to be a lot of hypersensitive people out there like, oh, don't say that, or oh, that's not kind. Well, I'm not coming from that place. I'm just coming from, this was sheer entertainment for me, and I enjoyed it on every level. When Jen finally says to her, you know what? You're special. She sat back at you. She said, you're special. Okay, you're sick. And it's crazy because in that moment, I was thinking, as she simultaneously is making those comments, I'm thinking Tamara got some serious issues. Tamara got some, like, there's really, again, someone like her, I don't know why she's on this show. She really needs to be off the show, focusing on getting herself together. Maybe stick with your little podcast. And even then, I think you should just kind of get off all airwaves, you know, whatever TV, all of that. You need to really get in a quiet space and get yourself together. Truly and honestly. You know what I'm saying? But lastly, for me though, is when Jim was like, how's therapy going? Oh, mic drop, and it was over. Okay. So say what y'all want to say. I was like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh. You ain't like someone talking to you all sideways, did you? Did you? And getting you together. You weren't expecting that. Okay. And then she walks off. I was like, bye-bye. See you later, girl. Have a good night. I loved it. So shout out to Jen. Jen, listen, she almost disappointed, but she did disappoint. I want to make a fun guess that at this point, Jen is going to let it be. I think maybe she really, sometimes people just need that one more again to see if they've had enough. I'm gonna give her the pass on this and say, I think this was it. I think she's had enough. hopefully this seals the deal and allows her to move forward and really recognize that Tamara ain't no good and she's not any good to anyone. And that's why she really needs to get with herself in a secret place and space of her life and get it together and do the work for real and stop pretending like you're doing the work. It's not showing like you think it's showing. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, y'all, the music is on, the dance floor is lit. Don't be no prude and hold up the wall. Get on the floor. Let me know your thoughts, your comments. Do y'all think this season is starting off crazy? Who's the real liar at the end of the day? Do you think Katie and Tamara are both liars? Do you think Katie's the liar in this? Do you think Tamara's the liar in this? Like, what are your thoughts? Would you ever speak to Katie again if she did what she did? That she did to Shannon. Now, I know too in the prior episodes, it was a back and forth with her and Emily. Now, Emily, I'm like, Emily, go sit down somewhere, okay? Because you're the same woman out your mouth, even before they showed the footage. And I'm glad they did, who was talking about the whole custody situation and her not having custody on her kids. Another subject you should have never put your lips on. And so you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. Okay. So I wasn't feeling nothing with Emily. And I'm like, again, I hope she's not going to give us screaming and yelling this whole season because you already gave us that last season. And I'm not trying to do it again. I think it's absolutely just, unfortunate what she's having to deal with as it relates to her son. Because while, the beauty is there's resources and, ways to just really manage that. I don't want to act like it's the easiest thing to do, but I see so many cool stories online. Just saw one the other day about children with autism and how they make progress and just how brilliant they really are at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just another name for brilliance because I know some that are super duper smart that will knock your socks off. It's like, she's still so emotional though as an individual. Like Shane said, we deal with it two different ways. Like, I like to think on the positives of things, she's in the negative, and I'm not going to tell her how to feel, but I just feel like she should be off the show, focusing on getting those things together and learning her son's condition more and focusing and spending that time with him. Okay. Because it's like that's all going to turn into you going bonkers and feeling like your excuse is going to be because of what your son is going through. And I just don't think that that's fair, So, anyways, y'all, I didn't said a whole mouthful. Let me go ahead and get off this thing. Let me wrap this party right on up. But again, I've missed you guys so much. Give me the shout out, Spencer, my original party king. Where you at? Okay, a whole new gentry pap. Like I said, bravado, and oh my gosh, it's so many of you guys. So forgive me, and just others of you that I didn't see for Atlanta at all. AKA talkative TV addict, where you been at, girl? Hopefully, you're back on the Orange County scene, and I'll be able to chat with you. But please let me know what's going on with you guys. I hope that all has been well your way. I hope that this video found you in good spirits. And if it didn't, somehow I said something or a little bit of something, brought a little sunshine to your day to lift you up. I promise y'all have my word that I'm going to see this season and the reunion through. Okay. My apologies. Forgive me for getting ghost, for getting gone. I promise you I had good reason. I might look like it too, but all is well in the land, and that's what matters. Okay, she's back. So appreciate y'all in advance, giving y'all all social hugs. Love you guys, and I will definitely be back next week to do it all over again. Okay, so until then, ain't nothing changed. Y'all know what to do. Okay, y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.